Kent won for the first time this season. The Spitfires opening their NatWest T20 Blast campaign with a 7-run victory over the Sussex Sharks in Canterbury. Batting first after winning the toss, the home side took 11 runs off Steve McGoffin's opening over, the last ball sent over the rope by Joe Denley. But the informed Daniel Bell-Drummond lasted only 3 balls before falling for a single. Ollie Robinson starting his T20 career with Sussex with a wicket with his second delivery. Robinson's first over was a good one, but his second was expensive as the Spitfires captain Sam Northeast went after him, smashing the 21-year-old for 4 successive fours as the home team took 62 runs off the first 6 overs of power play, the kind of start a number of teams had across the country on the first night of this much-loved competition. Michael Yardy had been introduced into the attack within the power play, and in his second over he fired one in typical fashion to have Denley LBW on the sweep for a pleasing 37, which had been made off 24 balls. With Will Beer keeping things tight at one end, his 4 overs cost only 19 runs. Sam Billings went after Chris Nash, who saw 3 fours and this 6 come off the space of 4 deliveries in an over which went for 20 runs to take Kent to a total of 117 for 2 with 8 overs remaining. Billings was dropped on 34, but next ball Beer got the wicket his efforts deserved. Northeast out for 40 with a thick edge, which landed safely into the hands of the sliding Yardy at short third man. Billings is on many people's lists of players to watch in this tournament. His second maximum had him moving quickly into the 40s, and time enough for many more. He lost Darren Stevens at the other end with 6 overs to go. The batsman with a shot off Yardy that was so well timed that it took a good catch on the boundary's edge from Robinson to prevent a 6. Sussex tried to peg it back, and when Billings on a 28-ball 46 bottom edged a sweep off Robinson back onto his stumps, the Spitfires were left on 134 for 5 with 30 balls of their innings remaining. Naturally, the shots kept on coming. Alex Blake with this well-executed stroke off Yardy that carried the distance. Some extra bounce did for Blake in the next over, however, his pull flying into the hands of Chris Liddle, and that left the total on 155 for 6 with 3 overs to go. Matt Coles took the long handle to Liddle but holed out to Robinson, who was having a busy night with the ball and in the field. Fabian Cowdrey, meanwhile, had played an excellent cameo. He found the boundary 4 times off his first 4 deliveries to make a real difference to the final total. His 12-ball 24 turning out to be the big difference come the end of this contest. McGoffin got him before too much damage was done. 8 runs came off the last over with James Treadwell clubbing Liddle to Beer, as the Spitfires had to settle for a total of 185 for 9 from their 20 overs. And that looked as if it wasn't going to be enough, the way that Luke Wright and Nash went about the start of the chase. No bowler was safe from the early onslaught, which brought these 2 experienced hitters 62 runs off the first 6 overs. The last ball of the power play brought the Sharks their first maximum, Wright driving David Griffiths over the top of extra cover. The Sharks then could not have asked for a better start, the boundaries being found all around the wicket as this pair opened up with a stand of 81 in just 7.5 overs. Had they gone on for much longer, then it would have been difficult for Kent to get this game back, but Treadwell had Wright on 36 held at long on with his 4th delivery of the night. So in came a man many had come to watch in the form of Mahela Jayawardena, whose domestic debut got going with a shot bowlers all around the world have had to suffer. His initial job was to support Nash, who'd made the night's top score of 61 when he missed his 45th delivery and was bowled by Coles. The Sharks needed 74 off the last 8 overs, and that was certainly achievable, with Jayawardena playing shots like this one. It flew over the rope with exquisite timing as well as power. The Sri Lankan tried something similar in Cole's next over, but this time he skied the ball too much, and crucially as far as Kent were concerned, Denley held his nerve and the ball. Jayawardena departed for 39, and now 32 were wanted off the last 3 overs. Griffiths' over started with 5 wides but ended with a run out of Matt Machin as he was beaten by Cole's throw, coming back for a second. Now 22 were required from 12 balls, but Mitch Claydon's last over of the night turned out to be the match winner. 3 came for the first 3 balls and then Ben Brown edged behind. Next ball, Beer drove to Cowdrey, whose catch at mid-off just about secured the result. Claydon's 2 for 29 left Craig Cachopa to find 18 off the last over, but in spite of this boundary off the third ball, he and his team fell short. The home celebrations could begin as Robinson could only squeeze a single off Griffiths, who did what he needed to do, and that was to keep his foot behind the line. At last, the Spitfires were able to toast a victory for the first time this summer after an indifferent start to their 4-day campaign. They won here by 7 runs and can now look forward to taking on Hampshire in front of the Sky cameras next Friday at the Ageas Bowl. Sussex have to wait only until Sunday to put this behind them when they begin their home campaign with a match against an in-form Gloucestershire side.